Hi, welcome to Memory Chips Podcast. I am Ann Wyszynski, and I have a collection of potato chip bags from around the world. And every so often, I go through this collection, and a certain bag or bags will bring up memories of people, places, ideas, and I really want to share these with you. So if you please subscribe, you will never miss a bag.
Do you have any Ukrainian chip bags?
I do not.
Okay, then we have a mission.
Ludvig Ödman loves a mission. The mission might just be to collect as much of his belly button lint as possible over his lifetime. Or it could be to supply much needed equipment to Ukrainian fighters. Either way, he is committed to the mission of collecting. Last spring, I recorded a podcast featuring my Ukrainian friend Nastya. I talked about how resourceful and resilient she is. And Ludvig is Nastya's husband, and he is no less resilient or resourceful. They met at a blacksmithing school in the woods of southwest Sweden. It's actually a school for art and slöjd, which is one of my favorite sounding Swedish words, and it means craft or industry, or maybe handicrafts. They both studied blacksmithing, but they're also artists. And they continued to live and to make art in the Swedish woods in a sort of diligent, resourceful person's compound. One of the features of this compound is a self-renovated home full of Ludvig's collections. Can you describe how this kind of like semi-isolation has to do with your artistic?
Yeah, I have it's two buildings. It's our home where we live, and we have a rather large workshop. But the whole area is sort of like an ongoing art project. And for me, I don't really care if I'm working on art or if I'm fixing windows or if I'm doing something in the garden. The main point is me building something or moving something or doing something, right. Improving something.
And you talk about how you're in the middle of something, some life, just living, and you'll have the gardening, or you'll be fixing a window, or you'll be doing something, but then you take these peripheral trips that result in what most people would consider traditionally artistic, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
And so can you describe what those peripheral trips entail?
Peripheral trip could be basically anything. It could be a book or anything that I do that I, in a later stage, connect to what I make. Right. It doesn't have to be anything concrete. It can be a thought or a series of thoughts that generate something. Right.
And those could come from anything.
Yeah. So a lot of times they come from my childhood, growing up with my parents who were archaeologists, and it was kind of an odd upbringing, growing up in the middle of their collections. And
so I've been to your parents' house, and I've seen some of their collections, and the way that their house is, it's like it's Swedish style of collecting things, because everything's very orderly. And so I wouldn't even.
Well, at first glance, perhaps it's cluttered, but orderly.
Unless you pointed out that, I would not have noticed that they were collecting things. Like, it doesn't seem, when you think of people who have like a million collections.
Yeah.
I think of hoarders, but they're not hoarders.
No, they're not hoarders. They're like refined hoarders. And it was more when I was younger. I think, I don't really know because of what, but some of their weirdest collections disappeared for different reasons. My father had it was a whole room full of iron slag lumps on shelves. Project he was working on, and when that project was over, he got rid of them basically.
Right. So yeah, so he just there is a time when they get done with their collection and they just get rid of them.
Yeah, I think so.
That's not like really hoarder mentality.
No, maybe not.
Your father's at Lund. Is he still at the university?
Well, I guess he's connected to the university somehow.
Because there's an anthropologist. Her name's Charlotte Hagström. She has really interesting field work that she does. One of the projects that she'd been doing was she's interested in collectors and collecting. I just wonder who she's talking to, or if your father heard.
I'm gonna ask him.
Yeah, ask him. Charlotte Hagström. One of the things that she categorizes collectors into different categories, and one of the categories is, I consider myself as this kind of collector, but of my collections have to be useful. So she said that some people actually have collections that they have to find some purpose for it. They collect things to be used, or they feel like the collection has to exist for a purpose, otherwise they get rid of it. And I find myself, this is why I'm doing this. I'm trying to justify collecting it. Like, I don't want to hold on to this unless there's some reason to have it. So that's why I have this like multi-part art thing. But she says that most collectors who have that kind of attitude towards collecting are usually artists.
Yeah. But do you consider your collection to be complete at some stage, where you put the last chip bag in the collection and it's complete, let's collect something new?
It's arbitrarily complete.
Yeah.
I don't have a goal other than an arbitrary like time limit. Stop giving me these bags. I'm not collecting them anymore.
It's probably important for not treading into hoarder territory.
Can you describe what your collections are, like all of them, and whether or not whether you're waiting to complete them at some?
Well, some of the collections, I guess they're completed when I die. Collections of nail clippings from myself. It's obvious when I'm not around anymore, the collection is complete. And in that same group of collections is stuff that falls off the body, hair and things not too gross but still interesting enough and easy enough to keep.
So hair and belly button lint.
Hair and beard and belly button lint. And
does the head hair and the beard go in the same?
No, they have different. I have foot hair and leg hair too, because sometimes in different projects where you are forced to shave your body because you have to perhaps cast a leg for some purpose, you have to shave your leg first, so that hair goes into the leg hair obviously.
How big in volume is your leg hair collection?
Not big, actually. It's pretty small, but I don't produce that much beard, so my leg hair collection combined with my arm hair collection is probably bigger than my beard collection. What
about ear wax?
Nah,
that's too gross. Yeah, I was wondering where you.
It's not gross, but it's I don't. Yeah, perhaps I draw the limit on fluids. If you consider earwax a fluid, or
I do. I wonder if anybody's made like earwax sculptures or anything, or like
probably If you can think of it, someone has tried.
Yeah, exactly. So those are all, yeah, definitely when you die, then yeah, those will stop. But you don't plan on stopping those until then.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so like, what if you become like incapacitated? Are you gonna force Astia to continue? Like,
Honestly, I don't think she would continue.
would you? She's shaking her head.
Nastya, would you continue collecting nail clippings if I was incapacitated? No, no, she wouldn't.
Good. Good for her. What else do you have?
Just interesting things I find in the forest, and those things I usually think that I have a future purpose with. You know, funny sticks or bones or whatever. And sometimes I actually use them in castings and things like that. Stuff from our cats, also things that fall off cats, whiskers and fur and things like that.
Okay. And so what do you ever okay, so like I said, I'd been to your parents' house and I saw their different collections, and the only one that I really remember was in the bathroom. Your father had these model military
Oh yeah, the tank toilet.
tank toilet, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like, but I thought it was so great because the way he had displayed it, because he had like a lighted cabinet with all these model tanks.
Oh yeah, and it's evolving every time you go there.
Oh,
So it's this little man cave where he has free hands in there.
So yeah, so that was the one that I remember. So they had, obviously they have, I mean, how many individual collections do you think they have between the two of them in their place?
I don't know. Could be 100, I guess. Some started when I was young. My mother collects paper castles, like you buy those models of a castle, you fold it and glue it. So that's probably one of the more space-consuming collections.
And so what are the ones that you connect with the most, or you think are the most influential on you?
Probably, weird dead stuff. At the time, we had an aquarium, and there was one of the fishes. It just jumped out of the aquarium, and it fell behind it, or something like that, and it preserved perfectly without rotting. So that fish is in the collection where things of that nature goes, like dry frogs, or you probably know because I've seen some of your stuff you had in the Swedish house.
Yeah,
interesting self-preserved little creatures.
We have an aquarium here, and we also we preserve the fish that die in the aquarium. So we also have a collection of preserved fish from the aquarium. Nice. And snail shells and things like that that came out of the aquarium. And so we're trying to sort of like close down the aquarium for a while. Then I was trying to think of, like, when we drain the aquarium and everything, I was like, oh, we need to arrange all of those fish in the aquarium without water in them somehow. So I was going to make like some sort of diorama.
Yeah.
Out of this.
And that's also a way of completing it, displaying it properly.
Right. Yes. So displaying it properly is a way of completing it. So then I wonder, is this something you always understood from your living with your parents' collections, or is this just something that came to you when you started working as an artist?
I think when I was a child, I probably thought that everyone did that. And then I became a teenager, and you think your parents are silly and you want to do more interesting stuff. And then, it came back in my 20s, I guess.
But that's actually interesting too, because one thing that is, when you say that about, growing up, so your father has this the tank toilet. So he's got a collection of model tanks in the toilet. And then I don't know if you were always like interested in military things. Was your father in the military, or is just
yeah, he was driving a tank.
Are you still training with the medics?
No, I'm finished. So I'm a medic.
You're a medic. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So does that mean that can they call you? Do they call you up for things? I mean, how does that work in Sweden?
Yeah, but it's like part of the territorial defense, or what you call it. What do you call it in the US? National Guard.
National
Yeah,
Guard.
so if there is a forest fire, or so
Okay.
it's forest fires and all the people who get lost in the forest.
You train to be a medic, and then you're
Yeah.
in that, and then so that kind of transitions into this drawing. So I know that you're a blacksmith. You make commissioned public artwork and
Yeah.
railings and things
I'm
like
a little bit of everything.
that. So one of the things is drawing, and I've noticed that in these drawings that you made,
Mhm.
of the Ukraine,
Ukraine drawings.
that there's tons of tanks in that.
Yeah. But also in this conflict, the tank is kind of iconic.
Then they have like the sunflowers growing out of them, which
Yeah, and the drawings they're kind of, you can relate them to comic book drawings or some kind of satire. But I didn't want it to be like Donald Duck. It was important to be kind of realistic. So if I was drawing a tank, I wanted to know what tank and how it looks and from what era, from what year, to add some kind of realism.
wow. So there's research that goes along.
Oh, there's tons of research.
Did you just start drawing the pictures and then realize that you could sell them to raise money, or did you
I just started out of desperation when the war started to do something, and I kept drawing. It was like some kind of meditation or whatever. So I did it once every day. Then eventually I had a whole bunch of drawings, and I guess Nastya told me to try to sell them. So we made prints, limited edition prints, and started selling them over social media. And it kind of exploded.
right?
And it spread in Ukraine a little bit because of our connection there.
You mean your Ukrainian?
My Ukrainian wife,
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask you how much you've raised?
It's around $14,000. It's more than I earn doing my own stuff in a year.
Right.
So.
Well, that's
and all this money is, of course, for the project, and we buy vehicles and equipment, and so we have contacts in the country and they have a wish list. So now we need this. Can you see if you can find it? Now we need an ambulance. Can you see if you can find it? So
yeah. So who are you working with to target what's needed? You know, you have this wish list. Who's making this wish list?
Well, it's basically my father-in-law. He's a blacksmith in Ukraine, and my mother-in-law, she's an English teacher and a hustler and a promoter.
Hustler.
Really, really good one. And they have a vast, what do you call it? Network of other blacksmiths and people around the world. And in Ukraine, Nastya's mother, my mother-in-law, she's our connection, and she has friends and connections around the country. And nowadays it's mostly for the military, for the territorial defense, and,
right.
And so normal people.
Yeah. So how do you find an ambulance?
I didn't find one myself. I suck at finding cars and doing all that. So I'm fine with doing my drawings and selling them. But through my parents-in-law, we got in contact with a group called Blacksmiths Without Borders. Okay. So it's like a handful of people in blacksmiths in Sweden and Norway. And among those people are good car finders or good whatever. So we collect money in our own ways, and then we find the cars or equipment, and then we get together and drive to Ukraine and deliver the things.
Right. So you drove to Ukraine. When was it? Last month?
Was it July?
Can you tell me the trip there where you
Yeah,
like?
sure. We obviously these days it's a kind of a complicated trip. We go through Poland and cross the border to Ukraine. We take a ferry from Sweden to Poland,
So
and
did you have
then
to get all the things that you collected or bought with the thing? You had to get all.
yeah, they're loaded into cars, and some cars stay in the country, and sometimes some car go back home. It's different every time.
Okay.
And then we meet up. Well, we cross the border to Ukraine and meet up at Nastia's mother's place in Ivano-Frankivsk, west of Ukraine. And from there we go where they need us, basically.
Okay. And so when's the next trip?
Saturday.
What? Are you going?
Yeah.
Oh.
And Nastia is coming too. Yeah, it's going to be such a smooth ride with someone who knows the language and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you can't speak any Ukrainian? I thought you knew a little.
I know a little bit. So last time we went, I was probably the one the one who knew the most.
Yeah.
And that's not a lot. So it was difficult. They have checkpoints everywhere, and at the border, not always someone speaks English, and so.
So were you nervous about your safety? No.
No. I mean, obviously they bomb cities from time to time, but I mean,
okay.
Millions and millions of people are living there, and
yeah.
So no, it's okay.
This is like all the culmination of your interests like coming together. Not that it's
kind of. I haven't thought of it, but when you say it, perhaps. Yeah.
I think it is. I mean, I think this is your not. I mean, it's unfortunate that it's not your.
It had to come to this.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's not your fantasy that you would have to be delivering, things to.
No.
In the middle of this, it's not great. And I was just wondering if I know because you were interested in military stuff that you were training to be a medic with the Swedish military and that you have this interest in it. And I just wonder, like in February when they started invading in Ukraine, I think I talked to you, but I don't think we ever talked about this. Like, did you want to go and fight, or were you?
No.
Okay, you didn't. Okay, I just was wondering if like you did, and Nastia said no way, or if there was any. No, you didn't want to.
No.
Yeah, but this is good. This is.
Yeah, this is more suitable.
I mean, you said you started drawing out of frustration at the beginning, or just like didn't know what to do. Like, do you feel like even though the war is just dragging on, you feel
but
sort of
still
relief, like feeling like you're because I know just for me, like it's super frustrating to feel like there's nothing that you can do.
Yeah.
And
but the war has been dragging on since 2014.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's kind of been in the back of our minds since Maidan. And
Ludvig and I started discussing the actual drawings that he is selling to raise money to send supplies and equipment to Ukraine. These drawings are on his website, ludvigödman.com. So it's LUDVIGODMAN.com. And if you click on the square, the icon with a pen and ink drawing of Putin's disgusting face, you can get to a gallery of the one that I really like, which is this tank with the cabinets.
Oh yeah, the cabinet, the famous cabinet.
Yeah, the famous cabinet, but I can't see what's on the top of it.
On top of it is a ceramic rooster.
Oh.
So they actually found this cabinet high up in a high rise that's been bombed.
Yeah.
And this cabinet was still hanging like 10 floors up.
Right.
With the plates and the dish stand and everything in order. And on top of it was a ceramic rooster.
I didn't know about the ceramic rooster.
No, and they actually rescued that ceramic rooster. And in one of Zelensky's speeches, he had this rooster behind him on a shelf.
This one I liked, of Erdogan hugging Putin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they have it's a complicated relationship.
I like, that was one of the ones that it says statue underneath, and there's
yeah, that was actually from the last trip to Ivano-Frankivsk. So all the statues in pretty much all of the country is covered with sandbags. So the population has got together and they're protecting their statues.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's it's impressive. It's a sculpture in itself, and inside is a bronze statue important for the country.
Wow. Okay.
So it was the same in Kiev and other places.
Yeah. Most of these I kind of know what they're referencing, but some of them.
Yeah, some are kind of, you have to do a little bit of research to understand them, and that because I had an exhibition in Ukraine on the last trip. That wasn't the point of the trip, but I brought some drawings just to give away. And my mother-in-law, she organized an exhibition, and I was a little bit skeptic to exhibit there in the middle of the war. And I didn't really know what they would think of some Swedish dude coming there and, thinking he knows something. But they really enjoyed it, and they said it was kind of spot on.
When you talk about like collections like these, my bag collection doesn't take up that much space.
No, is that all?
Yeah.
That's all?
This is the ones that I've already processed. Like.
Yeah, as long as you don't have them all at display at once. Like if you started framing them, that would be another story. Yeah. But
like this, you smush it down, it doesn't take up that much space.
No. Even Nastya said that's not too bad.
I think that because they're flat, you can smush them in. That was the reason why I couldn't find the appropriate chip bag for you. That's what I was. I like this one because it has the effect of being like an activist potato chip.
That's like in the bottom of the Maslow's pyramid. Safety.
Yeah, safety. Exactly. Everybody has. Whatever. It's actually this Maskro barn. I don't know what Maskro. I guess that's a charity. Maskro barn.
I guess.
Maskro's barn.
Maskro's barn.
Oh yeah. What is that?
Dandelion children.
Okay.
I don't know what that stands for. Is it for kids left
I'm not
by
sure.
their parents?
I've heard it 1,000 times, but I don't really remember.
I think they're kids from the suburbs.
Oh yeah, it could be.
But I like this bag too because it's a Swedish flag, which is like kind of similar colors.
Oh yeah.
But look at the this is my favorite Swedish flavor.
Yeah. Was it tasty?
No, all the Swedish potato chips taste exactly the same.
Oh, okay.
Nothing. Flavor. Yeah. But yeah, Worm's sandwich flavor.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the beauty of. Well, it's not the beauty, but that's the character of Swedish potato chips is that they all taste exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like salt.
Well, we're gonna find you some in Ukraine, I guess.
Okay, great. So, do you have a favorite flavor?
I kind of like triple onion.
Triple onion. Do I have triple onion?
No. Okay.
Oh, here. This is your favorite?
Yeah.
Triple onions? Okay.
No, but wait. Let me see again.
That one says onions, tomato, and cheese.
No, that's not the one, because the one I like has narrow. What's it called?
Ridges?
Yeah.
These have ridges?
Yeah, but there are wide ridges.
Oh, you like the
That's
narrow.
a whole. Good.
All right.
No.
Actually, I think I might use this anyway, just to make fun. This one I got the last time. This is disgusting. Barbecue versus cola flavor.
Cola. Oh yeah, that sounds horrendous.
I know.
Yuck.
So yeah, find me some Ukrainian chips. But
we will.
But then if you find me Ukrainian chips, then I'm gonna have to talk to both of you again.
Yeah. We do another one.
Okay, but I appreciate you talking to me now.
Well, it's my pleasure.
Thanks for listening, and if you have any questions or comments about what you heard today, please post them to the review section of your podcast player. So if you use Apple Podcasts, you click on the show thumbnail and scroll down to leave a review. And then whatever happens after that is up to you, but hopefully it's nice. You can also leave posts on Instagram at @MemoryChipsPodcast.